Yeah, we have 15 years of data on it now, and it is
Mm.
going to be quick, and it's not even up for debate. People may want to debate it, but they haven't looked at the data. As of where we are now, is it's very reliably 500 million people that have some sort of ownership of Bitcoin in 15 years. And if you run this data forward, we will be 1 billion people having some ownership of Bitcoin by the end of this decade. And by 2035, if this curve continues its path, we're pretty much near majority adoption of Bitcoin.
In this recent interview with Sis the Future, featuring Willy Woo, we uncover fascinating insights about the future of Bitcoin. Willy Woo, an expert in on-chain analysis and Bitcoin adoption trends, explores the 10,000-year perspective of Bitcoin's role in civilization, how Bitcoin adoption is accelerating globally, and the connection between Bitcoin and the Kardashev scale of energy evolution. At the time of this discussion, Bitcoin is trading around $101,000, with a 4% increase in the last 24 hours and a 1% increase in the last 30 days. Before we hear more from Willy Woo, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this channel. Now, let's hear more.
As an investment holding, and then the question is this going to be a reserve currency? Will it be money? Will it be a medium of exchange? But it's happening very, very quickly. This was like a zoom out picture of where does Bitcoin sit in a 10,000 year view? In this case, it was like 10,000 years into the past, not the future. But we can get to that. And really, it was like, if you were to look at the fundamentals of money, we started off with commodity money. And we basically built this kind of Lindy effect on gold and silver as money because these things were very hard to get more of, very hard to inflate the supply. And as we moved into the industrial age, there was a change where we tended to trade the paper that was claimable for the gold and silver because it's a pain in the ass shifting lumps of silver and gold around. So, with the development of the industrial age, we started to paperize, papers much quicker. And then now we're in a digital age. And what we're seeing is, a lot of online banking, a lot of digital payments, but that stuff's not internet native. And really, fundamentally, Bitcoin solved this thing that was thought to be solvable, but it took until the Satoshi white paper in the tail end of 2008 to solve. What he solved was the ability to put scarcity online. Because up till then, I send you a JPEG, you can just copy it to infinity. And so by putting scarcity online, it was the first time we could actually have a real internet native money. So really the thought is we're in this kind of transition to a fully digital age where so much of our economy is online and we didn't up to now have a digitally native form of scarcity, a form of money. And that's Bitcoin. And so that's the 10,000 years from the past to where we are now. In that sort of one picture tweet, I think I did. Yeah, this is a really interesting thing when you look at 10,000 years of money and you find that, we've had first inklings of gold coins and stuff for I think 700 BC. And now we talk about money going from, world reserve currencies changing every 100 years. But you'll find that they were always tagged to gold or silver until this very, very brief experiment of fiat since 1971 when the gold window was closed. And that's never gone well in the history of the world. So I don't really look at this era of 50 years almost, roughly, as a real zone. You see Weimar Germany went off the gold standard, and it hyperinflated almost immediately. The whole world's on this fiat right now. I think it's a brief experiment. So now the bigger picture is Bitcoin's in the process or attempting to flip gold and silver, like thousands, multi-thousand years of Lindy effect, building trust in gold, silver as a form of money. And it's only 15 years into this.
As we just heard Willy Woo discuss Bitcoin's incredible adoption trends, now let's hear his thoughts on Bitcoin's role as a truly internet-native form of money, the global trajectory toward mainstream adoption by 2030, and the fascinating link between Bitcoin and energy evolution on the Kardashev scale. Let's dive deeper into these transformative ideas and listen to what Willy Woo has to say.
When I was starting the early research, I would do things like look at Google Trends and so forth, and things were doubling every year. That was how quickly it was growing. Now it's not compounding quite like that in terms of user adoption, but in terms of we're at 5% of the world, that'll compound very, very quickly because there's an adoption curve, right? Once you hit 16%, that's when you hit mainstream. It gets to 50% very, very quickly. And you think about it being barely over $1 trillion. And the speed of the adoption and the fact that more than 99% of global wealth is not invested yet, and the kind of reflexive nature of this investment that like $1 invested can shift market cap $5 in a bull market. Bitcoin's set to explode into a very high number in the coming years, given this adoption. Very reliable adoption.
Yeah.
But it's very, very easy now for Bitcoin to be argued as a credible investment now that you've got these ETFs, you've got BlackRock recommending allocations as high as above 70% in some analyst reports. Fidelity, I think, is 3% allocation. You just run that, say 3% of $550 trillion goes into Bitcoin, multiplied by anything from 1 to 5x, depending on where we are in the cycle, you get to some very large numbers very quickly. And like MicroStrategy has really kind of been the proof in the pudding in a way with their Bitcoin strategy. Look at them. They're a software company that really was not that competitive by Michael Saylor's own words. They took on this treasury strategy, and now they're the best performing stock on the S&P 500, or NASDAQ, beating out things like NVIDIA, Amazon, Microsoft, so forth, Google.
Maybe just explain what Kardashev scale is as well.
This is going to open us up to Bitcoin in the next 10,000 years. So the Kardashev scale is a measure of technology. And the technology level is really measured in energy consumption, or the amount of energy harnessed. And so originally proposed was there's 3 types of civilizations. Type 1 is the civilization that can capture every single amount of energy hitting your planet and converting that to use. Type 2 is all of the energy from your star, the sun. And then type 3 is all the energy available in the galaxy. So this is sort of long-range thinking and technology levels, kind of the Star Trek and beyond idea. And if you measure where we are on the scale, because after this was proposed, we said Kardashev level 0 is pretty much our own muscle power, eating food, hunter-gatherer type of thing, before even the invention of the harnessing of fire, because wood, that's not your energy that you're producing. So that's a 0. And put that in perspective, we're, like 1 or 2%, I think, don't quote me on it, of the energy hitting the planet we can convert. It might be even less than 1%. But if you look at that on a geometric scale, potentially 10,000 years as hunter-gatherer through to agrarian age to where we are as a digital age, we'll Kardashev 0.75. And in 200 years, we're on track, 200 to 300 years, we're on track to harness all the energy available on the planet, to give you an idea of exponential change. And so in this future, we're going to now look at what money is, given that money is this thing that civilization likes to use, where they pick the thing that's a fair ledger. Like we've used gold or silver. We've also done fiat, and we know that will blow up, and it doesn't last very long in in a view of multiple thousands of years. And so we used effectively atoms, like called gold and silver, that were very hard to dig out of the ground and inflate the supply of. And that doesn't hold true in this kind of technology landscape. If you were to look at what happened just earlier this month, I think what's gone viral, unless you're hiding under a rock, is this giant rocket with twice the power of the moon rocket come back down and get caught by a tower, right? And the consequence of that technology is getting something into low Earth orbit 100 times cheaper. It used to cost NASA $10,000 to get 1 kilogram into orbit. So, your water bottle cost $10,000 to get into the space station. And now it's going to be $10. And the threshold to access all of the resources in the solar system is about $100 of cost getting into orbit. That below $100, mining the asteroid belts, accessing the solar system, including putting solar panels in orbit and capturing more energy, become unlocked. And so, as I say, as of this month, the countdown clock for gold being scarce is ending, and it might not be in 10 years or even 20 years, but it will end, and it won't be scarce. And we've got this other thing which is perfectly secured in this future landscape, and it's an energy coin, and it's called Bitcoin. Because if you want to control that currency, you need to control the energy. And in an economy, everything uses energy, right? I like to say the economy is effectively an engine that eats raw materials and energies to spit out stuff that we want. And you can look at long-ranging graphs of energy and GDP, and they're pretty much one-to-one. And so that's also when we were a level 1 civilization, we're going to have that level of goods and services and so forth. So the economy is going to be hungry for energy. And if you want to secure your money and you're using energy, it's compatible, and that will not break into the future to infinity. So the form of money, it's very hard to break a multi-thousand-year Lindy effect, but we're forced to do it in these coming decades.
To watch the full interview, check out the link in the description. In this conversation, Willy Woo explored Bitcoin's pivotal role in civilization's future, its accelerating adoption rates, and how it represents the next step in energy-backed economies. We would love to hear your thoughts on some questions. Do you think Bitcoin could fully replace fiat currencies in the next decade? How do you see Bitcoin's relationship with energy evolving in the future? Thank you for tuning into Only the Savvy. If you enjoyed this discussion, please subscribe, like, and share our video for more engaging content focused on the innovative world of decentralized technologies. SIM swap fraud is sweeping the globe, and your mobile security is at risk. Switch to Ifani and lock out SIM swap fraud and get the most elite mobile protection in the world. Ifani guarantees 100% protection from SIM swaps, backed by a $5 million insurance policy. Stay secure with reliable coverage, free international roaming, and unlimited data. Trust Ifani to keep your communications and assets secure. Get military-grade protection, 24/7 concierge service, and a hassle-free upgrade. Click the link below for $150 off. Thanks for watching. Help support this channel and receive exclusive offers from one of our partners located in the description. We'll see you on the next one.